Hey, what's up? This is Václav. So, last week I made another video about refactoring my home automation after 5 years of use. I'm taking everything I have learned in those 5 years and I'm doing it again, but better. And last week's video was about how I got rid of Arduino in my custom shades actuators. And I was very excited about the video because when I did it initially, people really loved that. I had to publish the code on the GitHub. I made 2 videos about it. There was lots of discussion about it on the blog, lots of references. People were using it despite the fact that it was based on a custom Arduino firmware. So essentially to do it, you had to program it in the C code. So when you needed to modify parameters, you had to open the configuration file, compile the firmware, load it. Very complicated. And now I got rid of that. I'm achieving the same. It actually works better, but without programming because I'm using ESPHome, which means that it works across all kinds of devices. The first one, it was written for the son-of device. So if you needed to change it to a different device, you had to figure out how to compile firmware for a different device. On ESPHome, it works across anything. You can use it on Shelly. You can, if you have an ESP32 or whatever switch with expressive chip on it, you can just use it there and you can combine it with all other components. And it's very simple. It doesn't require any programming. ESPHome does it for you. And I made a custom component for this one because the original one only supports the time-based shades without tilt control. So I made a custom one, but its use is very simple because you just say, this is the one I used. There's a link to the GitHub where the modification is published. And from then on, it's exactly the same as the standard stock ESP32 shades controller. So nothing complicated. You don't have to program anything. So I thought, people are going to love it. It's going to be great. It's going to be very successful. But no one cared. And I thought, well, I guess the world has moved in those 5 years. No one is doing those things anymore. You can just buy a commercial unit on the market. So no one cares. So I said, okay, never mind. I'm going to do something else. But then I got in a discussion with someone on my Discord and they were complaining, it doesn't work at all. It just turns the blades to completely random position and it's not reliable and it's useless. And I thought, well, that's interesting. Maybe it depends on the hardware. I was quite surprised and I was asking questions. But then I find out that the person actually didn't use the ESPHome at all. They were just using the Shelly with the stock firmware and trying to control the tilt over the internet, over Wi-Fi, from Home Assistant automation. And then obviously, this is real-time control. You're trying to tilt the blade and start and stop the motor exactly in number of milliseconds so you hit the angle you want. Doing it over internet, that won't work. That was the point why I made this whole ESPHome firmware for it. And I guess I failed to make a point. You didn't get it. I don't know what I did wrong. So let me try you again. I'm going to show you how it works, how reliable, how precise the control is. And I'm going to again show you how easy it is to configure it, to upload it. And hopefully, if you like that, you can go back and watch the video again because I really think it's exciting. And when I did that, I actually pushed myself to do the custom component because initially I was just doing everything in the script. But then I said, well, it's not enough. I have to make it easier for you people and for me. So at the end, when I figured this one out, I thought, well, this is great. I was really excited about it. So maybe you didn't understand my message. Maybe I did the wrong job explaining it. Or maybe not. Maybe you just don't really care. So that'll be interesting to find out. I'm trying again though. So let me show you. So in the video, I was showing 2 types of shades. the Venetian blinds, where you can control the position of the shades as well as the tilt of those individual blades. And I was also showing the roller cover, which is using the standard ESPHome time-based cover, and it works exactly the same, except you don't control the tilt, because there is no such a thing. So I'm not going to be talking about it today. I'm going to talk about the Venetian blinds, but they're very similar. So the way how they work is, when I got them, they had two buttons on the wall. When I push the first button, the shade will go up, and when I let it go, it will stop. And there was a second button for the shade to go down. And when I wanted to adjust the tilt, I had to push it and release it just in time when it was tilted in the position I wanted. So it was kind of try and error. And what have I done is I opened this switch in the wall, and I put there a smart switch with two relays. And I took the two wires coming to those two buttons on the wall, and I put those two wires each to one relay, so I can control them remotely and very precisely with precise timing. And then I also connected the switch to this smart switch, so I can control that from the wall still manually. But what it allows me to do as well is I don't have to keep the button pressed. I can push it, and it'll go all the way up, and then it will stop. And if I want to close it down, I don't have to keep it hold for 1.5 minutes or whatnot. I just push it and it'll go all the way down. And if I want to stop it, I just push it again. Or if I want to set it to a precise position, I could do it by holding the switch and then releasing it, or I can do it from Home Assistant by just setting the position in a %. And this is true for both for the position and for the tilt. And I can control it through web page, through voice assistant, or in this case from mobile application. And when I open it, you see two sliders, one for the position and one for the tilt. And if I want to adjust the tilt, I will just take the slider, I will move it to a position, and it will adjust the tilt of those blades to exactly that position. If I want to adjust it back, again, I change the tilt to a different position, and as you can see, it's gonna move the tilt and adjust it very precisely to that angle. Now, when I walk past, and if I wanted to adjust the tilt, I wouldn't pull out my phone and push the sliders, right? I would just probably use the buttons on the wall. But what's really cool about that, I adjust them automatically based on the angle of the sun, and it works great. And the way this is done is you just add ESPHome into your smart switch like normal. I suppose you all know that. And if not, there is plenty of videos about it. And the only thing you have to do extra is you just add this cover element in there. And there you define the duration for the shade to go up, to go down, and tilt. You have to measure that or try and error. And also you define the action when you're opening and closing, that it should turn on and turn off the relay which was connected to the buttons. And what we also then define is if you want to control it through the wall switch, through the buttons on the wall, you also define those binary sensors to control the cover as well. And because we're using custom component, the only difference is from the regular one, from the ESPHome, which is adding this one block of external components with the URL to the GitHub, and that's it. Other than that, it works just like the regular standard ESPHome time-based cover. So hopefully this is clear now. Oh, maybe it was clear before, but many of you were asking for a demonstration how those blades work anyhow, how precise it is. So now you have it. And if you like it, obviously you can like the video, but there's a link to the original video, so you can go there and watch it again. And I see you in the next one. Bye.